Julien Jean-Pierre from the Royal St.Lucian Seamoss Company, and I am chilling on this Sunday evening. Yes, I did it again. I did a last-minute live stream and did not tell you guys uh, right away and did not give you enough notice, so I apologize for that. But um, I'm hoping sometimes I do this stuff just to see who's watching, just to see who's around, to see who's sort of on it, who's paying attention, who's not. If I how do you say it? If I like announced that I was doing this, and if I, planned it in advance and gave everybody all this time to talk about it, then there's a good chance that I wouldn't. It's like it would be too programmed. I wouldn't be able to see what the general or genuine interaction is, and so that's what I'm doing. Plus, this is all new. I'm not experienced at doing it. I don't have a lot of practice. And so it's easier in my mind to practice and do this when no one's watching, right? So that's part of the reason why I do it last minute, and another reason why I tend to do it late. So I'm sorry about that. It's just the way it goes. I do see some people watching, so that's great. Thank you. Hoping that you guys can decide to come and join in on the live stream. I will post a link in the chat. Actually, I don't even know if I know how to do this. Let me see. I'm going to go back to Restream and see if I can pull up the event and then post the links in the events windows. And we'll see. Pull up the events and then post the links. Look at that in the events windows. You can keep talking about the stream, going back and forth. Pull the events and then post the links. Look at that in the events windows. You can keep talking about the stream, going back and forth. Pull the events and post the links. Look at that in the events windows. Talking about the stream. Bear with me, guys. I know in future I'll get this better organized. Actually, I should turn the volume up on them. Bear with me, guys. That would start. Bear with. Okay, I think I got it. And then let's comment on here. And we'll see. There. Okay, so there we go. So just those who were wondering why it was sounding a little choppy and looking, having the echo, it's mainly because I have multiple windows opening. I'm trying to put in the, whatchamacallit, the links in there, so hopefully someone can join me as a guest. I'm going to put the, what is this here? The questions and the comments here. So that's ready to display. So Lucia's saying it's choppy and you can't hear, which is fine. I understand. I apologize for that. Like I said, over time, this stuff will get better. So tonight, I kind of wanted to be here to answer questions, talk a little bit about the Seamoss business, a little bit about advertising and different techniques for marketing and stuff like that to help not only start your business but to grow your business. I think it's important, especially now that as more people are getting into the Seamoss space. Yes, I still believe that it's a huge business or huge industry that's just starting, but the reality is that it's a growing business. And if people are not out there pushing to try and develop new markets or new areas, then the feeling overall is going to feel like your market is constrained. It's not constrained. The only thing is you're marketing, or you doing your business inside this circle, and you need to figure out ways to look outside that circle that you're in, and try to capture new business. Some of the ideas might be, post lots of videos on training, showing people how to make gel, showing people how to what CMOS does, giving testimonials. You know what I mean? And then posting these testimonials and these videos in areas where most people are not looking for CMOS or not expecting it. You know what I mean? So different health groups or different Black business groups. You know what I mean? That's something that I don't see a lot of people really sort of focusing on. We're Black businesses. You should be in every single Black business group that's like on Facebook, and showing people not only that you have this business, but how you got started in this business, what you love about your business, why your business is special to you. You know what I mean? These are all different things that you can use to create content to help show who you are, and why your business is different than others. And then it also helps explore new markets and new areas. You know what I mean? I feel like the key to scaling in this business, or really growing, is figuring out the markets outside your current market. How do you grow? How do you get new people into the space that weren't already in the space? Maybe even you organize at a gym a CMOS sample day. You know what I mean? Or try to organize. And I've seen someone post today about a 14 CMOS challenge. You guys should be going to your local gyms or health groups or yoga teachers and saying, hey, I'd like to see if we can work out some, here's the benefit of CMOS, this is what it's done for me and why it's changed. Would you be interested in working with your current groups on, one, having an information day about CMOS, and then two, you think we can start like a CMOS challenge or something like that, that would, you know, get people curious about what CMOS is. All my friends don't know really what CMOS is. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, then there's many other people that have friends that don't know CMOS is. You know, Another thing you should have is, you should be working on an elevator pitch, what's called an elevator pitch, which basically is, I guess, a blurb, or like about 2 minutes of a pre-scripted sort of speech that you give to anybody that asks you about who you are and what your business is. Think of it as if you were in the elevator with Elon Musk, and he asks you, who are you and what do you do? How do you describe who you are and what you do in less than a minute? And something that's like, that will have enough information, that's interesting and stuff like that. You kind of need to practice that your elevator speech. I feel like it's super important if you're wanting to grow and scale your business, because at any moment you're going to be like a rock star or a singer. I remember this when I was growing up. One of my friends was a big producer, and he said that the way that they would test people to see if they are serious about singing is they would just straight up say, sing. I want to hear you sing. You're a singer? Sing. And if the singer did not sing, like if they made some excuse like, oh, this or oh, that, my voice is not, then you weren't a singer. You weren't serious. You weren't on your craft. You weren't practicing your stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You should be able to, at a snap, be able to accurately describe your product and sell it to somebody. You know what I mean? Because this, like any sales, any business, this is all a numbers game. The amount of people that you can put your product in front of is crucial. The more people you can put them in front of, the more people you convert. I think the average conversion ratio for any product is something like 3 to 4%, and that basically means for every 100 people, there'll be 3 of them that will say for every 100 people you buy, 4 of them agree to buy your purchase. Right. And that's another thing too, is you got to understand that in this business, there's a lot of rejection. Not everybody is going to buy your product. You know what I mean? And so you need to kind of have a thick skin, and not only that, but be able to work the numbers, you know what I mean? So that the more people that see it, the more people choose it. You know, if you don't show anybody your product, that's why you don't have any sales. And most times when I look at people that I know and they're not doing well, when I really analyze what it is they're doing and stuff, the one thing I realize is that they're not investing enough time. They're not working hard enough. They're not showing it to enough people. You know what I mean? And that's the key to this business. If you're not selling, you know what I mean, it's because either you're not showing it enough people, that's the main thing, but also it could be the way you're selling the product or the way you're presenting it is not attractive to the people that you're showing it to. So you either have to change the way you're presenting it or change the people you're showing it to, right? It's either that or that. So it's either you're not showing enough people or the people that you're showing to are not, you know what I mean, you're not describing the product enough to get them interested. And thirdly, your product is crap. If your product's crap and it's not good, then you know what I mean. No one's gonna buy it, even if you show it for 1,000 people. You know what I mean? Like, if it's crap, it's crap. So work on your product, and that's the thing. If you're pushing up the numbers and getting a lot of people to show the product, and you're not getting the sales, then you need to look at the way you're presenting it and the way you're selling the product. You know, or the way you're presenting and selling the product, or just the product itself. That you need to change. And this is like a general thing that you can apply to everybody. So I'm just getting a message that I'm being too loud, and that it's late and people are trying to sit, like people are trying to sleep. See, that's me. I'm 24/7 Seamoss guy, always on the go, always trying to get the Seamoss in front of people's faces, get people to see it, and you know, business, like when you run your own business, it never stops. um it's a 24-hour effort, you know what I mean? And that's why they say, like, if you're going to be in your own business, you got to do something you love, because if you don't love this, you know what I mean? Like, I love CMOS, I love doing these live streams, I love helping people and teaching people, sharing the knowledge that I've acquired, whether it is CMOS or any other business, you know what I mean, that I've been in. I'm always willing to share and show people how I've done it, to try and encourage them to do it themselves, because you know, it's somewhat of a, you know, if you can get people to be interested in something that you're interested, it's just validated that you're, whatever you're doing is interesting, if that makes sense, you know. So I don't want this all to be about me rapping and things. So please, guys, you know, do me a favor and put some questions in the comment book here in the stream, and let's see if I can answer some questions for you guys. And yeah, try to answer some stuff. Just want to look and see, because this is so new. I know that I could be getting comments from other people, and it's possible I can't hear or I can't see. You guys are asking me questions, and for whatever reason, I might not be able to see it. But it doesn't look like too many people are putting any comments. Well, it is what it is. All right. So, what else could I talk about scaling? Maybe I'll talk to you guys a little bit of what we use at St. Lucian Seamoss Company to market and promote our services or sell our products. First of all, we use Shopify, which I'm very very, very, how do you say it, biased towards. And part of the reason why I'm biased towards Shopify is because at one point early in 2000, I used to build websites, not for other people, but mainly for myself. So I was really into e-commerce. I remember doing drop shipping back in like 1999, 2000, you know what I mean? That early year when no one really understood what drop shipping was. I was doing that and I was building sites to sell products on through WooCommerce, which is a great platform. It's good. You know what I mean? WooCommerce, Wix, all the, well, actually I hate Wix, but that's another story. But these sites, they're good sites and they're cheap. And in the case of WooCommerce, it's free. So it's great. But the problem with a lot of these products or these website platforms that I found, um, in comparison to doing Shopify, is that there's a lot of setup to these WooCommerce sites and these other stuff. You have to, put your tax modules in. You have to put these shipping modules. You have to kind of configure them and set them up. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they've gotten better in the last few years, but my experience with Shopify was like night and day. It was like everything kind of worked. It was just a simple kind of click here, click there. Setup was easy. Within no time, I had shipping modules built. Taxes were automatically added. Everything was just point and click, and then they had a lot of support with additional third-party apps and stuff like that. And so one of the apps I use is a shipping label app, which gets me cheap shipping across North America. We pay probably about half of what we would normally pay if we weren't using this option. So we have that. And then I use another piece of software called Klaviyo. Klaviyo is huge. Um, and it's a must for anybody, I believe, that's in this business that wants to market to their customers. If you're creating an online business, then you need to have you need to have Klaviyo as your backend so that you can. It's basically your full content relationship manager and allows you to automate a lot of the features, or the communications to your clients, which, in order to keep business going, you need to have a system in place in order to capture your current and repeat clients. It's one thing to scale, right? And get your ads everywhere. But if you're not, if you're not keeping the customers that you're going and paying to get, because the reality is each customer you're getting costs you money, whether it's 50 cents or $50. So in order to maximize your efforts, you need to make sure that you have a system in place so that you can keep um, your clients together. Alicia just said, I will reach out to you on how to use it, but I have it, but haven't used it. You need to use it and you need to learn it. One of the best features I found in Klaviyo is the use of what they call flows. And so flows can be set up in a way where you can use a certain metric like this purchase, anybody that's purchased that has, like, okay, let's take abandoned cart, right? Everybody knows what an abandoned cart is when you leave the site without making a purchase. You can create a flow in Klaviyo that basically identifies when someone abandons a cart and then will send them a series of messages based on certain conditions, like whether or not that person lives in North America or they live in UK, or whether or not that person has opened any emails of yours, or whether or not that person viewed this particular page on your site. You can sort of develop, I guess, what would you call them? Processes or whatever to identify these people and then send a targeted message to them automatically. And so as you go through your business and the system identifies these particular people that you've set this flow for, it just launches and gives it. So for example, when the abandoned cart happens, within 12 hours, you get a message saying, hey, you left something in your cart. And then depending on where you are, whether you're in North America or whether you're in, say, Europe, you can get a different message sent to you based on you abandoning the cart. And like one of the things I do in the abandoned cart flow is I create it's like a funnel. You know how people call funnels? It's just like a flow where first they're reminded, hey, you didn't do your cart. Then it's like, okay, your cart's going to run out. Oh, I know you might be, iffy about making the purchase. Here's why we think you should be purchasing from our company. Here's the product that we do. And so because a lot of times when these people abandon the cart, they're usually abandoning it because something on your site gave them the feeling of, I'm not ready to purchase, or this is not where I want to go. And so you need to bring these people back and show them, hey, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Don't leave. I got this for you. This is the site you really want to purchase. And you got to try and pull them, because once they leave your site, they're going to someone else's site. They made the purchase. You know what I mean? They just didn't complete it. So that tells you that they have intent. They have intent to buy Cmos. So you need to get that back. And some good tips on ways to get them back is, like I said before, show them the product, show them why your product is why, or what it is about your product that differentiates from the others, or what it is that makes your product unique and particular. You know what I mean? And so you go through that, and you educate your customer to show them why you're sort of better buy. So Macabre just wrote a question here. He's coming from YouTube, and he says, what is the main benefit for Cmos? Honestly, I couldn't pick out a main benefit of Cmos. Yes, Alicia, so fine. You said, should you offer a discount to get them to purchase? Yes, but only to me at the very end. If all the information you give still hasn't converted them, then you follow up with a discount, because that's usually what will sort of seal the deal. It's like, oh, I'm saving money, and you got to give them a good enough discount so that they can justify taking the risk. Once you've sort of roped them in, or once they've taken the risk, I don't want to say rope them in. Once they've taken this risk and it's paid off for them, they will come back and buy, as long as you follow up with consistent messages and stuff to keep them engaged. But getting back to Macabree's question about what is the main benefit of Cmos, it's hard to say what's the main benefit. There are so many benefits from Cmos, and I'm going to share a page with you guys. It talks, and it's called This is a great site for what should we call it? If you want to get information on Cmos, I don't think I know anybody who knows more Cmos than the guys at Detox and Cure. I mean, this is a guy who has traveled the world looking for Cmos, buying Cmos, and he's been in a lot of places. You know what I mean? Most people haven't even been to one place, and this guy has gone to a lot. He's gone all over the world. So he has one article where it talks about the top 10 benefits of Cmos. Let me just, I'm going to share my screen. And Facebook user who asked about how do you find international buyers. Give me a second, and I will go deep into how to find international buyers. For now, I'm going to share my screen. Yes, and look at it. It's going to be weird looking at it and not being able to see it, like see what you guys are seeing. So what is Cmos? Did it talk to? You know what? Let me do it a different way. Top 10 benefits of Cmos. There it is. So one of the benefits that they say, although it's not fully proven, is that the CMOS has, you know what? I'm on the wrong page here. Let me go here. Oh, stop sharing the screen. There we go. So it's believed to have 102 minerals in your body, and that the CMOS has 92. So that might be what would probably be one of the top benefits, is the fact that it is very nutrient dense and has lots of minerals in it. It says, do you I think it's best you spend some time and just read this here, because he goes in and talk about mineralized compounds and the difference of the minerals. Like, you know, minerals in CMOS are organified soluble form of silver that is able to assimilate with the body. The alternative, which is widely accepted as being good for you. There's also stuff like ferric hydroxide, ferric oxide. I don't think that sounds too good. So eating CMOS helps to promote a healthy thyroid. I think that's a big important thing. CMOS also works with the digestive system, the heart, cholesterol levels, brain, mood, and hormones balance, muscles, bones, reproductive organs, the nervous system, and the metabolism. It also supports a healthy heart with these different vitamins. You'll also have supporting a healthy immune system functions. You have different like good digestion with CMOS. So you have excuse me, improved digestion, reduction of foggy brain, better sleeping, you know, easier and more regular bowel movements, feeling more energetic, and feeling lighter and cleaner. These are all consistent with what I've been feeling when I've taken CMOS, you know. So I recommend you check this site out. I'm going to put the link in the group chat here so that everybody can see it. And then I'm going to go on to the next question, which was, how do you go about finding international buyers? Okay. And so that's a very good question. And I think it deserves actually a fault. Like, I need to ask an additional question, which is basically one, where are you located? And what do you define as international buyers? Like, do you mean, like, are you located in the Caribbean, like say Grenada or St. Lucia, and you're trying to find buyers outside of your, like outside of your island, like a foreign market? Or are you someone who's buying from someone in the Caribbean? You're probably located in North America and you're trying to figure out, okay, so you're in Jamaica. Good question. So there's so many different ways on how you can find international buyers. But I think it's not so much finding the international buyer, but being able to be set up so that when you do find an international buyer, you're in a position so that they're more likely to choose your product or pick you, that they're going to buy from. Excuse me, guys. I'm just going to take a quick bite. And in order to really sort of understand that, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the buyer, right? You have to understand the mindset, what these guys are thinking. And so you need to be able to have your business set up in such a way, if possible, so that it creates trust with whoever you're trying to buy. Because I can send you 50 foreign buyers, you know, international buyers. And if they come to you and they look at your business and your business is not at a certain level to which they feel like they can trust you to give you that money, then they're not going to pick you, like no matter how many foreign buyers you have. So you need to have that sort of foundation set up, that groundwork in place, so that when people do come to you, like for me, and I know it's going to sound kind of conceited, but for the most part, anybody that talks to me, they're buying my CMOS, right? Because when they look on my website, I have all these reviews. I have clear pictures. You know what I mean? My website is not the best, I'll be honest, right? But the information that's on there is easy to see. It's easy to find. There's not a lot of bullshit added to it. It's just there, you know? And main thing is the reviews. You need to have reviews either on your website or on your Instagram or something. You need to show people that other people have brought your product and they're, you know, they're satisfied. They didn't, because there are so many scammers out here. There are so many people that are ripping off these customers. I've talked to a lot of these buyers, and that's their biggest fear. Another thing is you need to figure out a way to have a safe method for them to send payments, whether it be by PayPal or Zelle or something like that. Western Union, while it is easy and convenient for most people on the island, it's very scary for foreign buyers. They do not trust when people say, "Oh, send me the money by Western Union." That almost creates a red flag, right? So you need to get something like that set up. A realistic website is good. If not, a decent Instagram with lots of photos, lots of videos of you out there with the CMOS or in the water. People need to trust you. Like I've said it before, people need to trust you, and the only way they're going to really trust you is if they know, if they see you with the product. And that's another thing too. On your website, you need to have a phone number and an email address. You need to be easily accessible. All right. If there's one thing I know for sure in my business, and you can ask this from any of my customers, I am super accessible. All right. You could call me, a customer could call me right now and I'll answer my phone. You know what I mean? Even at 11 o'clock at night, you know, because the reality is when these guys have a problem, they need an answer. And the sooner you can give them the answer, whether it's, hey, I'm working on it, or I'll get back to you, even that is fine. They just want to know that there's someone there that they can reach if there's a problem, right? That's probably one of my biggest keys to the success in this industry, is that I've clearly shown, or I've, you know, accurately shown people that if there's a problem, I will be there to help you. You know, I'll be there to fix it, or, you know, come up with a solution or something like that. You know, so that's important if you want to attract foreign buyers. You need to figure out more than one option for shipping, because some people don't like you to ship this way. I have people that would, like, don't ship it to me by DHL because DHL, my country, they do this, they do that. It's not good. I want it by UPS, or they want it by boat. I don't fucking know. But the more you have, the more you understand how to ship your product in different ways, the easier it's going to be to sell the product to your customer and to have rough estimates on shipping. You know what I mean? Um, as for pricing, I don't know. A lot of people say, oh, include the shipping into the pricing, don't include the shipping in the pricing. I lean towards not including the shipping in the pricing, only because with the competition out there, especially in the Caribbean, one, you never know exactly what your shipping costs are going to be until you're actually shipping the product. And then two, so many people, there's such a range of different prices of how people do it, that it's almost better to just show this is the price. You know what I mean? If you want more, then we'll add on more to it for whatever it is. But this is like our base price, and you just go with that. So once you have that sort of in place, right, and you have sort of like the infrastructure, so that when you do get these clients, you can find them. The best way, in my opinion, is just to identify who they are and reach out to them, whether it's by direct message or it's by usually it's direct message, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or what. Just kind of reach out to them and say, hey, just want to let you know I'm this person. I sell CMOS and thing. I know you sell CMOS. If you're ever looking for someone to buy CMOS from, you know, I would be happy if you consider it, you know, this and this and that. And then, you know, you leave it as that. I would be careful about how you sort of like say, oh, I'll beat this price or that, because the reality is you don't know what price, like, how do I put it? They could be getting a low price. And when you look at the CMOS that they're getting, then you understand why they're getting a low price. You don't want to compete with someone like that, especially if you have a really good CMOS. To me, it's like, no, like you want the cheap stuff, that's the cheap stuff you get. You know what I mean? You want to pay premium, this is what you get for premium. When you start competing your premium product with their average product, it's like you're always gonna lose, and it's gonna hurt your business. In some ways, it's better for you to lose the customer than for you to sell the product for less than what you believe it's worth or what you need to get it in order to sustain your business. Because sometimes you keep giving, like these people, if you give them the opportunity, they will take everything that they can. You know what I mean? And if you don't have a way to stop it, you're going to lose. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, your business needs to survive above all costs. And so you if you're consistent and you're around, you'll find the customers that work best for you. You know what I mean? For me, there's a particular type of customer that buys from my CMOS. Not everybody buys from our company, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I understand that, and I don't try to go for every single person, because you'll be chasing your tail trying to get this business, especially because there are some unsavory buyers out there, and if they see you in a position where you are acting like you need them, then it creates leverage on their side, and they can say, oh, you want my money, huh? Okay, well, I need you to do this for me, I need to do that for me. No, no, no. You know what I mean? But if you're kind of like, hey, you know what? This is the CMOS. It's good CMOS. If you like it, give me a shout. If not, thank you. I'll move on to whoever I like it. Then they're more likely going, wait a minute, why is this guy not, chasing me for my money? Maybe he's got something that everybody else has or everybody wants and I don't have. Let me go check that out. I don't know. It's definitely a lot better to be in that position, to be in a position where that person thinks that you're desperate and you need that money. If you're too free and too open and giving away, it just leaves you vulnerable, which is what you want to avoid. So yeah, again, so once you have that foundation, you just reach out to people. You know what I mean? You just do what you can, show your product, show who you are. I've talked to a few people that are gel sellers and stuff, and one of the things they've said to me is like, you know, consistent posting of their content is key to their business. And even I noticed that if I don't post regularly, or if I don't put new pictures up and stuff like that, then the engagement starts to die and people start to lose interest, and they start, how do I put it? We're like cats, like we follow the shiny thing, that shiny object. And so if you're sitting here not trying to, like, hey, it's me, hey, I'm me over here, they're going to find this guy out over there and follow him and not you. And so, yeah. I hope I gave enough value for that question. Let me know if there's any follow-up questions or anything that you want to kind of have me go into it deeper more. But yeah, that's how we've generally got our customers. We've just put ourselves out there. We've put good products. We've made sure that when they do come to check us out, that we have an Instagram that's, how do you say it? That's full of activity, that's full of photos, that has validation of who we are and stuff like that. Like, even, if you're an exporter in Jamaica and you're selling to other people, offer your customers an additional 10%. Or look, I'll throw on a couple free pounds of CMOS on your next order if you make a video for me and send me the video of you trying your CMOS. Hey, that's in this. I like this person, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And this is why I like him. That's something to try. I think that would work. Yeah. So let me know if there's any other questions you guys want to add. Like I said, tonight is more just like the usual Seamoss Talk. Just no plan about it. How do you say it? No structure or no sort of set topic. You know what I mean? We're just kind of gonna go with the flow. And I actually am thinking I might move from where I am right now because I feel like it's getting late and there's other people in the house right now, and I feel bad keeping them up. So I'm going to go down to the basement and we are going to continue this conversation. So follow me as we go. Make sure I grab my spoil. I need that. Get my shoes on. I think I'm going to start doing the live streams from down here because I don't have to worry about making noise. Yes. I'm back. Let me just plug in my device here. So no one has any questions? No one wants to have anything to talk about? Well, I know there is one thing that I do want to mention because I am going live on several of the groups that I created. One of them is called the Seamoss Buyers Club. And if you haven't checked out the Seamoss Buyers Club, it's a great club for anybody that's looking to buy Seamoss. It's one of the few places on Facebook where you can not only promote your own Seamoss business, but you can buy from other Seamoss vendors, sellers, distributors, farmers, all ranges from all across the world. Currently, the group has about 6,000 members. And so the thing that's come up recently, as I was talking to some of these other sellers that are selling in the group, they've kind of expressed to me that, we need to start thinking about what the next step is for this group. Like, where is it? Like, I don't want to say it, but it's almost like they felt like we've reached to that point, that sort of end of the line, where it's kind of like we need to do something new and to sort of keep the momentum going. And so one of the things I'm thinking about doing is about doing regular live streams like this. So far I've identified Sunday nights, which is why I'm doing this now, and I'm trying and do it Wednesday. And I haven't picked out which day or when, or maybe I'll just do it whenever, but I want to use some of the time that I'm doing these live streams, one, to educate people on Seamoss or the Seamoss business, and then two, to create to allow other sellers to come in and speak with me. So the hopes is that there will be interested parties that will sign up with me to just want to be interviewed. You know what I mean? You come in and we talk about Seamoss with you. We can even set up a bunch of questions that you want me to ask you about your business and stuff. And so this will give the group an opportunity to see different vendors, see who they are, build trust with them, learn some stuff, maybe get inspired to do their own business and stuff. But ultimately, one of I think the best takeaways is that the person that I'm doing the interview with is going to be able to reuse the content for their own purposes. And so they can almost have me ask them the questions and then, take that video that we have, cut it up, and, share it on their own platforms. So I'll get back into that more. I just want to answer a couple questions because I see comments coming in, and I really should put it on the overlay so that people see them as they come up. So this Facebook user, who is nameless, says, "What are your thoughts on making CMOS with hot versus cold water?" That's a good question, and it's something that I feel like I I'm not going to sit there and say this one or that one or whatever. I'll dispel some of the myths or the things that I believe is myths. One of them is they say if you boil the sea moss, you lose the nutrients. I don't agree with that. I don't believe that that's the case. Mainly because when you boil the sea moss to cook it, right, it it doesn't lose any nutrients because the nutrients gets um, excreted out into the water, and the water is still being used in the boiling process, right? So I don't see how that argument holds any weight. And yeah, and I mean another thing is people have been doing the boiling the sea moss for years, if not centuries. Like, before this whole Dr. Sebi movement and everybody getting excited by CMOS, it was consumed in the Caribbean like normal. Like I've known about CMOS since I was like 12, 15. You know what I mean? And back then we boiled it. And here's the thing, everybody in the Caribbean boils it. That at least that I know of. Very few know and understand about the boiling. I mean about eating it unboiled or just soaking it. So everybody boils it down there. And another thing is the boiling method actually keeps the sea moss like the sea moss lasts longer, right? And that's mainly because you're killing a lot of the bacteria and a lot of the what do they call them? There's stuff like parasites and everything in the water. You know what I mean? And so you kill a lot of that. Yes, when we do the soaking, the lime will kill some of that bacteria and shit like that. But it's not the same as when you boil it. And I've seen my dad boil it. He swears by boiling it, right? He looks at me like I'm fucking nuts because I soak it and then blend it. He thinks I'm like, he's like, are you crazy? And he's left it on the counter. Like I remember when I was in St. Lucia, he left it on the counter for like 2 days. And I was like, "You're not going to put this in the fridge?" He was like, "What do you mean? It's the gel. It's done. What am I putting it in the fridge for?" I was like, "Okay, whatever. You're the boss. You know what you're talking about." And so, yeah, to me, I don't see anything wrong with boiling it, and I don't see anything wrong with soaking it and then blending it. I personally, I soak it and I blend it. I don't boil it. But like I said, my dad boils it, and pretty much every St. Lucian that I talk to in St. Lucia boils it. In fact, many of the CMOS farmers that when I just that was the funniest thing is like we'd be talking about CMOS and I'd be telling them what it's like in the foreign market, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, so you just do this and then you boil it," and I'd be like, "Well, wait a minute, hang on, they don't boil it," and they look at me like, "What? What? They don't what?" And I'm like, "They don't boil it." "What do you mean they don't boil it? What do they do with it?" And I'm like, "They just soak it and they blend it and they put it in the fridge." And they're like, "What?" Like, but it's coming from the sea. And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "But you have to boil it." And I'm like, "Why do you have to boil it?" And he's like, You have to, like, you don't know what's in that water. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of bacteria and organisms in there. He's like, you just don't, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That to me, it's like tomato, tomato. You know what I mean? It really depends on how you feel about it. You know what I mean? So yeah. So Facebook user says, "I treat it like apples. You can cook apple or eat it raw." True, and both of them are healthy for you. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I try not to get into these kind of arguments and state this stuff unless I have scientific proof. Now, if I had a test or read somewhere where a test was done where they took the raw sea moss and then they took the raw sea moss and boiled it and then they sampled it to see what the difference is, then I could say, okay, yeah, I read this article, this and that. But I haven't. I don't think it exists, or else I would have seen something like it. And so, therefore, to me, it's your personal opinion. But I don't believe that boiling it, like a lot of people say, will kill the nutrients in it. I don't believe that. So I hope that answered the question. And I hope it wasn't too long-winded, you know. Ready for the next question. Who's next? Until I get the next question, I think, where can you buy Cmos? Everywhere. No, you can buy it from us, that's for sure. St. Lucian Seamoss Company. But I mean, just Google it online. Say Seamoss near me. To me, I feel like I think what's important when you're buying CMOS is just to try and support the businesses in your local community. You know, start where you're at first and then expand out, especially when it comes to CMOS gel. I like, and I know some of my customers will like not want me to say this, but the truth is, I feel that if you can find a CMOS, someone selling CMOS locally, someone that you can actually speak to or meet or talk to them, that is far better than just picking some random company off the net. And the reason why I say that is because by and I mean, it's not to say that these companies on the net are not good, but by having someone that you can actually speak to belly to belly or face to, I feel is you can ask them a lot more questions. You can get a better gauge on who this person is because it's usually that person that is actually building your gel and putting it together. I think you need to ask them, do they sterilize their tools? How long is their shelf life? Where do they get their CMOS from? Um, those kind of questions. And sometimes it's not easy to get those answers um, if you're dealing with someone that is not close to you. And if there's a problem, what do you do? How do you find that person? You know? So Alicia So Fine wrote here, just getting back here, says, I think boiling is to kill the bacteria, not the nutrients. Yes, I agree. I believe that those that do boil it, they boil it for that purpose, and that's to kill the bacteria. And I mean, how do I say it? If it did really kill the nutrients, then you'd think at some point the people that are boiling it would realize that they're not getting any effects from it. You know what I mean? And so, uh, yeah, I don't believe that holds any weight. You know. Okay, so you said what water? I don't know what you mean by what water. So maybe if you be a little bit more detailed, I can try to answer that question. So it says I'm introducing CMOS to a new market and not really heard of here. Do you have any tips on how to grow in a new market? So yes, most of them I just said earlier. Uh, sorry, I'm getting a few questions here. Let's just say I'm going to answer them one at a time, and I'm going to get back to the question. So this one is about introducing CMOS into a new market. Um, I think that you need to, in order to break into a new market, you need to develop enough content that shows who you are, what you do, why you do it, and other things that would create an image of who you are and a story behind why you're doing it, and then to show like where you're getting the CMOS from, how you take care of the CMOS and stuff. You want to do stuff that develops trust with people. And then, especially in a new market where you've never, people are not familiar with CMOS, you want to produce a lot of content that goes into detail about what CMOS is, what's contained in CMOS, why is it good for you. Once these people learn about CMOS and the benefits of it, people are naturally going to be curious. And then I would create some kind of whether it be a discount code or like a small sample pack, something that you could sell to them or give to them that will allow them to taste and try the Seamoss. One of the things that I do that I don't really publicly say is that I've created a bunch of smaller packages of gel. Like, I don't sell the gel, I sell the raw, but I make the gel to basically give away to people who are new to Seamoss so that they can try it and see the effects. And a lot of times when I give them that sample, their response after a few days, they come back to me and it's either, how do I get the dried so I can make my own gel? Or who do you know that makes this gel so I can buy it? You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I lead off, and that's how that's what I'm doing to sort of create or help build up the market or get people turned on to Seamoss. So what's my sample size? It's actually a 250 mil of gel. So I think that's about 8 ounces. Yeah. And I put in a small squeeze cup, and and I freeze them so that they're basically there whenever I need them. I pull them out of the fridge when I'm like, a lot of times I'll go to a party and I'll throw a bunch of Seamoss frozen gels in my trunk or in my car, so that when someone asks me about Seamoss, I go, oh, hold on a second, I got something for you. Make it like I purposely got it from, but I just keep them in my car for whoever I think they need it, you know? So getting back to some of these questions here, the water used to make gel. Is there a recipe for making Seamoss gel? Yes, there are hundreds of recipes, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recipes. You could probably spend a week on YouTube listening and watching videos on how to make the Seamoss gel. And everybody has their own version or their own way of doing it. So to say what's right and what's best or what's the best way to make Seamoss gel, you know what? You could ask 10 different people and you'll get 12 different answers, right? So that, to me, it's like you need to spend some time and do some research to understand the product and how so many people are making it, so that you can develop a way that works best for you. So I hope that answers the question. Um, Tap or bottled Seamoss. So if you're talking about the water, I don't know. Here's the thing, right? And I know people are going to look at me like I'm nuts. Well, let me rephrase this. I at one point I was using tap water, right? I'm now using filtered water for my fridge, right? But ideally, you want to use either spring water or some kind of filtered water. You don't like, there's chlorine and fluoride in tap water, and you really don't want to be putting that into your food that then goes into your system. And so my advice is that if you can, use spring water or some kind of filter water. Now, in the absence of that, you know, water is water. It's better to use tap water and get your Seamoss in you than to use no, you know what I mean, to not do the Seamoss at all. And so the next question here after that is, so do we boil the Seamoss or not? I don't know. I don't care. That's really up to you. If you really want the honest answer, or you really want a true answer, my advice is to boil it, try it, do it unboiled, try it, choose whichever one you like best. Choose the one that got the best results from you. Because if my dad was here right now, he'd be freaking out and be like screaming at you, boil it, boil it, boil it. You know what I mean? But me, I don't boil it. So how am I to say that I'm right and he's wrong, or he's wrong and I'm right? You know what I mean? Or you know what I'm trying to say. But the point is, the only way you're going to get the real answer is if you try it yourself and see what you prefer best. Because my experience or my belief with Seamoss is that it's not a pill that you take that fixes everything for you and everybody gets the same results. It's like smoking weed. Everybody gets a different high. Everybody gets a different sensation or feeling from doing it. And so, you know what I mean? There's no right or wrong way. The right way is just to do it. So do we boil the Seamoss? I answered that. The sample size, I think I answered that. And then you were asking, is there a recipe for making CMOS gel, like the ratio? Yeah, see, that's a tough question. Like I said before, it's better to watch a bunch of videos and get the different get multiple opinions and develop your own opinion from those opinions. One thing I know from dealing with CMOS is that not every CMOS will gel the same way and at the same time. There are times where we sell the CMOS at a particular time of year, and we sell to the same customer CMOS from a different type of time of the year, and they've reported that their results on the gel were different. Or if they come to us after being with another vendor for so long, they will say, "Hey, I tried to gel it the same way that I normally do. This didn't gel up the same. Whatever. I got more yield out of it than the other place." Like, everybody's different, so it's not an answer that I could say, okay, for every 1 ounce of dried or wet sea moss, you put this much ounces of water. What I do when I'm making the gel is that I soak the sea moss, I put the sea moss into the blender, and then I put it about a quarter way, and then I start blending the blender. A lot of times at that stage, the sea moss will the blending won't blend right away, and then you'll have to slowly start adding water to it to kind of create the consistency. And then just before I'm finishing, like, say the last little bit of water that I add, I'll tend to use warm water or hot water that was just boiled in a kettle, and I'll use that to sort of finish it off. Or sometimes I'll add all hot water. But I always add a little bit of hot water to my gel because I find that when I add the water towards the end, it will blend a lot smoother. And so if you're getting like the grainy chunks or the little bits that look like it's kind of like I don't know, like crystals in it, you know what I mean? You need to add some heat to that to break down the sea moss slightly so that it blends into more of a gel. So the next question is, do you store the CMOS gel in a bag or a bottle? I have them in bags. I have them in these food safe related bags. I bought them from pouch makers, and they got it from pouch makers, and they have a spout on it. And actually, give me 1 second. I'm gonna run and I'm gonna grab you a sample of the CMOS to check it out. Ugh. So these are the pouches that I use. And so there's two different ways that you can get these pouches. You can buy them where you fill them by the spout and you open it up and it kind of flows in there, which is okay. You just got to make sure that your gel is fresh and warm when you do that so that it flows into it. Or with these ones, the opening comes up here and I just fill it into the open, and then I take a hot iron and I close it. Now, when you do it with the hot iron, as you can see, it doesn't always produce a very sort of like professional looking seal. But for me, that seal is not as important because I'm generally giving these away. I don't sell the gel at all. Like, if someone wanted gel, I just say, here, take it, right? I'm not looking to make a profit off it. What I am looking to do is, get people turned on to it by trying it. And what I found is when I would give out samples of the dry CMOS, if you've never made CMOS gel, 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't make it. Like, the amount of friends that I know I have that have dried CMOS, I probably have maybe 50 pounds out there of CMOS that I've given away, and people, took the CMOS. Oh yeah, take the CMOS, and then they never made it. So how do I squeeze this out when it's in the pouch? Pretty simple, right? I just squeeze it. and then it just comes out. Because the gel is not hard, so to speak. You can mush it. You know. Oh yes, thank you, Alicia. So fine. Elena or Aliena. Sorry if I messed up your name. I always butcher people's names. Um, in my opinion, the best mixer is the Vitamix. That's what I use. A lot of people swear by the Ninja, um, and yeah, swear by the Ninja. If yours are hard, and this will get hard, Alicia, right? If you store it in the fridge and you do it, but what happens is when you move it like this, because this bag is pliable, you just you know what I mean? You kind of soften it up, and when you push it, even though the stuff is hard, it's gonna the pressure is gonna squeeze it through the hole, and it's just gonna come out like a spout. All right, so yeah, maybe you are using too much moss, but maybe that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Because then your CMOS is more concentrated, and that's something you can use when you're selling it. Say, look, my CMOS is super concentrated. I'm surprised people aren't taking their CMOS and holding it up like this and saying, look at mine, look at mine. Mine's so thick it can't even fall out of the cup. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would be doing to show off my CMOS. Is that mine is um so concentrated that this is, you know what I mean? And who knows? For all you know, everybody else's stuff is concentrated. But the one guy that isn't, the one guy that if you know what I mean, turn it over and his gel comes out, he's fucked. And you will stand out as the winner. Or what will happen is everybody will turn around and be like, oh, I wonder if my customers, the person I'm buying the CMOS from does that if it's that thick. And if it's not, then you have an advantage. Yes, Alicia, it's like I do the Dairy Queen Blizzard test. And yeah, good idea to show it in your content videos. One of the reasons why I think the Vitamix mixer though is a good choice, although it is expensive, what it is that it comes with a super strong motor. It also has safety features within the Vitamix that will shut it down if it gets too work. Like from what I remember, you'll never burn out a motor in a Vitamix because it will actually shut down before it gets to that point where the mixer might burn out. I've had that in my own experience when I'm making smoothies. I like my smoothies thick, and sometimes I make it so thick that the blender can't mix. But what's exciting and what I like most about the Vitamix blender, and this is something that many people don't know, but the blades are not sharp, right? When you deal with the Ninja, when you deal with these Cuisinarts and stuff like that, the blade that it's running around has to be super sharp in order to cut it and blend. The technology that Vitamix uses it's designed in such a way so that it actually I don't know if it blends like it breaks down or emulsifies or whatever the word is, but instead of chopping it just it almost beats it. I don't know how to explain. You do some research on the Vitamix, but I know that there's a lot of technology that goes into it to ensure that it has the best features to break down CMOS or to break down foods and to blend it in a very efficient way and not using a lot of energy. And then you don't have to worry ever about your blades getting dull. So I hope that answered the question or gave some insight information about what blender to use and why to use certain blender or why Vitamix blenders are great, you know. So what's next, guys? I think I answered all the questions. If I had missed a question, please, don't be afraid to kind of shout it out again in the chat so that I can see it. You know. I'm just thinking, what else could I show you guys? I've done this video before, but you know what I could do? I could show you guys where some of the Seamoss in St. Lucia can be found. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull up Google Earth. Is it? Oh no, I think it's maps.google. Let's go. St. Lucia. Bumba! Put the satellites on there. Terrain. So guys, this is the beautiful island of St. Lucia. Okay, this is like definitely beautiful. The Helen of the West Indies. You know, this is an area that was fought many times over by the French and by the English. And it says terrain, but I want to find, oh, there it is, satellite. That's the look you get. And so most of the island's activity can be found in the north end of the island on this sort of side of the coast, right? This is Castries. This is the main capital, right? This is Rodney Bay and Gros Islet. This is where a lot of the hotels and stuff is. They have Pigeon Island, which is a big, you know, nature reserve and, you know, tourist destination. Casambas, I think this is where they do a lot. There's a beautiful beach here. I don't know if I can zoom in and show it. Plantation Beach. I can show a photo. I think it's this beach, or maybe it's this beach, where I was on it and I did a horse tour, and they took me out in the water on the horse. It was really cool. But this is where a lot of the, you know, the upper class of the island is. This is Cap Estate. This is like a lot of rich people live in Cap Estate. Here you go. This is where a lot of the hotels are. All right. There is, here's a resort that I always stay at, Windjammer Landing. Beautiful resort. If you know, want to stay at the north end of the island, you know, and so you're going on the coast. We have the, this is their smaller airport. This is VG Airport, but they have an international airport down in the south. But this is mainly for small planes and stuff like that, inter-island travel. You know what I mean? And then you have the town here, Castries. This is where, you know, the majority of people live, and in around here. These are all up in the mountains and stuff. Here's the Oku Hospital. So their big hospital down there. This is their, I guess it's an oil it's an gasoline oil terminal. So a lot of the tankers that are shipping gasoline and oil around the region to the different islands, they usually will use this as sort of like a stop point transfer station. So this is where like most of the, I guess, heavy industries would be. You know what I mean? This is where cruise ships come in. This is where, you know, they have the oil tankers, and they usually will come in from this way and, you know, come on this side here. Let me just check to see, make sure anybody has any questions. Yeah. So let me close this tab here. So yeah, so this is where the oil is and stuff. You go down this coast here, and you arrive down here near Soufrière. And this area is Soufrière. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, right? And it's near where the pitons are. Right, this is Petit Piton. I think the Gros Piton is like nearby. Let me zoom in here. Yeah, this is Gros Piton. This is Petit Piton. And then up here is sulfate, right? Now, here's something that not too many people know, unless you've been to St. Lucia or you know a lot of St. Lucians, or you're St. Lucian yourself. St. Lucia has an active volcano, right? It's a collapsed volcano. And this collapsed volcano is, it's called the Sulphur Springs. It's constantly spewing out mineral-rich water, okay? This is it. And this is to show you how fucking badass St. Lucians are, okay? These guys built a mother effing road right through it. Like, you know what I mean? They could have gone around to it. They could have done this. No. We're going right through that thing. And so, I'll zoom in a little more. But this all here is basically a big, giant mineral springs, right? And I don't know if it's down here more, or I think it's somewhere in here. You can actually go and take a hot bath, a hot springs. I think it might even be here. Oh, these are all sulfur springs. But there is, let's see if I can throw a picture. There is like these water springs. Here it is. So this is part of the sulfur springs. There are these baths that you can go into, and the mineral water flows down from the volcano into these areas. And this is like all sulfur there, right? So these are all concentrations of minerals. And naturally, this water eventually flows out into the sea, right? There's another photo of this sponge mineral bath. I've taken these mineral baths, and I can tell you that literally it is life-changing. When you get out of that bath, your skin is so smooth. It's like smoother than a baby's bum. And when you sleep, you will have some of the best sleep you ever had in your life. And then like any aches and pains that you might have, sore back or whatever, gone. I'm telling you. I don't care what anybody says. I've done it multiple times. It's gone. You know what I mean? If you have any blemishes on your skin or anything like that, gone. You rub that mud all over. You'll see this lady in the thing here. You rub that mud, you wash it off. It's ill. Here's another photo of these guys in the mud bath. And so this is probably one of the biggest hot springs on the island. But I can tell you there's hot springs all over the island. You know what I mean? In just different areas. I remember watching a video of Akeem Pierre. I guess he's a prince or a king or whatever, but Akeem Pierre did a video where they were talking about them building their wellness retreat, and they found a spring when they were digging it. You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff happens all over St. Lucia. And so the island is constantly spewing out mineral-rich water into the ocean. And then on top of that, the island has, like, because of the island is basically one big volcanic rock, right? It's sort of porous, and these mineral waters are creating currents through the heat. And I've been told that what it does is it allows fresh, clean water to be constantly brought into the island, while the island is pushing out, while the heat of the water currents are pushing out dirty water. And so there's a constant flow of fresh, new water being mixed in with this mineral-rich water, and it just creates an environment where, there's a lot of good nutrients for the Seamoss to absorb, right? So that's huge. And this is also the same for like Grenada. I believe Grenada has an active volcano, but even St. Vincent and Ogden, and these areas all have great Seamoss. Don't let anybody convince you that the only good Seamoss comes from St. Lucia. Naturally, I'm going to think that Seamoss from St. Lucia is the best. I'm biased because of that, but there's good Seamoss everywhere. You know what I mean? And so until someone gets how do you say, it's a test out there that can accurately that just samples all the CMOS in the world and gives it a result. Everybody's going to have their own opinion, and they're all going to be biased, including myself. So, moving along, I've explained to you a little bit of why the waters in St. Lucia tend to be highly nutritious, like highly mineral. But another thing, coastline, there is not a lot of humans messing around with the water. You know what I mean? Or living around. I mean, sure, there's some houses here and there, but when you get to where most of the CMOS can be found, or most of the areas where CMOS is grown, let me just see there. I wonder if there's any CMOS farms around here. This is Black Bay. I'm trying to think if I was here before Black Bay. There was one farm that we helped a guy build somewhere around this area, but I don't think it was this far up. Let me look. Or wait, it had to be, because that's where the airport is. And so, let me see. I remember the place that we went to, I think it's right here. This is where we helped the guy build. Yeah. We helped this guy build a CMOS farm around here. I think it was like in here or something. I know it was somewhere off the side of the road. There was a park, and I had to go to, and then I'll never forget it. The farm, like the area that we were in, there was like a cross, like one of the properties across the way had a cross in it. So it's not here. No, it's up more. And I know it was like right by the road. Like the road came really close to the water. I think it's here, because there was a house there. Anyways, I'm boring you guys. I'm not gonna find it. Let me go back to the real information. But see all this here? This is all CMOS in the water. Like these areas where you see the raw, like the dark patches and stuff, this is generally like some kind of CMOS or CMOS grass that's growing in there. So we're getting into viewport. I'll show you. So this is Viewport. This is one of the biggest cities in the south. All in here. This is Sandy Beach and on the Chabals Beach. So the CMOS farms generally start around here, in this area. These are all in this area of CMOS farms. Let's see how quickly. And this, I bet you this photo is old. It's just 2021, which is weird because you should be able to see lots of sticks and stuff in the water. But not so much. But this all in here, this is all CMOS and seagrass in the water. And here's something I want to show you guys to give you an example of how far these guys have to travel to, with their CMOS. Okay, This is where a lot of Seamoss farms are, right? Where the people live that have these Seamoss farms is like all over here. Okay, so imagine having to walk from even like, actually from here, right? I don't know if you can see that, but like from here down to here, they all walk on foot with their Seamoss, you know, in the bags and stuff. So that's crazy. You know what I mean? To think that you're walking, I think there is a path through here that they travel, but still, like that's a far way to go, right? So they and if you look, there's no humans around here. There's no, like, you know, there's not a house. There's no sewage runoff and stuff. This is like this is all a protective mangrove area, right? So that starts from there, and then you have some Seamoss farms over here. I don't know if you can see them in there. Not so much. So you have that. They go all the way over here. You'll also find Seamoss farms. I know I keep looking back, but it's like I'm surprised I can't see any of these Seamoss farms. But I think it's probably because they're just not in high concentration. Like there's places I can show you in Asia where it's like you can see these farms from the satellite, you know. But here you don't see it as much. So here is another area where they grow Seamoss. This is Savins Bay. And in fact, this right here, I know for a fact, this is a staging area where people go. This white thing here, this is where they're drying Seamoss. This big white patch. That's like a giant tarp, probably a bunch of plastic out there. And then they have the thing. And all here are Seamoss farms. And then where this boat is, there's a lot of Seamoss farms out here. So, like, as you can see, this is nowhere near pool grown. You know what I mean? This is like very clean area. You know, no sewage runoffs from here. This is like almost like a quiet bay. The waters tend to break out here, and then this is all kind of flat area where the Seamoss is growing. And then over in here and here, they have areas. And I believe this might be, there's an area, and someone from there could probably correct me, but I know this might be the area, but there's an area there where there's just a lot of Seamoss growing in the wild naturally, not attached to rocks. It's just like there's like a depression in the surface of the ocean, and they tend to collect there. And I was told that a lot of the starter Seamosses that they collect is in that area. Now, it might be this area. It might be, might be somewhere here. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I just remember what I was told. So as you go more up the coast, you'll find more areas where they have Seamoss farms. Can't see any really here for sure, but I want you to pay attention and notice that all in here, there's like barely even a road to go down to these spots. You know, most times they're doing it on foot and stuff. So this is another town. It's called Mikud. All right. And I believe they do some Seamoss farming in these areas. Somewhere like in here. There's supposed to be some Seamoss farms here. And then I think some in this sort of area here. But I could be wrong. I'm just trying to remember because a lot of time, one time, me and my partner, we went to like almost every Seamoss farm on the Atlantic side, or every area that they were doing CMOS farms, just to kind of scope the land and everything. I want you to check this out. See this here? That's sagassum. That's a big giant plume of sagassum. And what's interesting is how it's all sort of bunched up together. This, I believe, is caused by the currents in the ocean. They will push this CMOS all into one big pile, and then they'll take it and kind of throw it out into sea. And then it gets picked up by another current, and it travels far away. I've watched it from my house. I have a house. I live at the end of the island. Let me just bring it here. I live down by here, and I've watched the sagassum flow across like this way, being taken to a whole new area. So let's get back to where we were, and that is, you got Obicon, you got Honeymoon Beach, you got the Mikud here, and then there's Monrepo. That's a town up here. And there, this right here is what I would call the Mecca of CMOS. This is Pralin. This is where most of the CMOS farms are harvested, or most of the CMOS coming out of St. Lucia is harvested. It's all in these areas. Here, here, here. You know, maybe not so much here because the water is really deep here. All in here. And then here, if you look, this now is a CMOS farm, or CMOS farms. And these are all different CMOS communities that come in here, and they come down and go down on this road. This is usually the beach that they're at. You know what I mean? And look, like, there is no real community, you know what I mean? Like, there's no activity. The closest activity is here in these areas, and these are like small houses and stuff like that, you know, not as big as one would think. So there you go. Like, this is where the majority of the CMOS is coming out of, from St. Lucia. And as you can see, this is not some massive commercial operation. This is, you know, there's no heavy buildings in here. You don't see them moving the CMOS by trucks or containers and stuff like that. These are all really small, homegrown operations. You know what I mean? Like a family would own a plot. You know what I mean? Or someone like that. It's not like commercial industries that are producing this product here. It's all done by hand. It's all done by love. You know? Yeah. So it looks like I've been rambling on and on about the CMOS. And so it is, what, 12 o'clock? And so I don't want to take this on too long. So unless there's some questions and stuff, I think I'm going to, you know, close it out today. I think I accomplished what I set out to accomplish, was just to even do the live stream and get it going. I hope that it inspires people to want to come and join me on the next live stream that I have. And because I really would like to have different vendors come on and discuss about their product, and just yeah, because I think it's important for people, one, to get their product name out there, and then two, for people to be inspired and to see what other people are doing and get excited by that. So my next time I'm going to come on here, I'm going to try and come on this Wednesday, maybe about 8, somewhere between 8 and 10 o'clock. That's usually when my day slows down a bit. I'm going to try and do another live stream. And so between now and then, if you have any questions that you'd like to see answered, or any topics that you'd like to see me discuss, please feel free to push it in the comments below here, or just send a message to me and tell me, hey, Julien, can you talk about this? when you do your next live, or can I be on your next live, or whatever. Like, this, I'm pretty open, flexible guy. Just reach out to me, share me your ideas. Also, if you are a member of the Seamoss Buyers Club and you have some ideas on how to sort of push it to the next level, or get more value out of the group and whatnot, please reach out to me, share the information with me, and I will seriously consider on how to implement whatever idea you have. Because at the end of the day, this group is not my group. It's the group for everybody. And so I think it's important to get everybody's input on it. So look, someone just joined and they're like, good morning. Yes, it is a good morning, being that it's 12:15 a.m. It's the start of the morning. Thanks for joining me. And let me know if you have any questions before I stop the show or stop streaming. Because, I mean, there's 2 people now. I'll be honest, I don't see there being too many more people jumping in at this hour. I know I did it last minute. I know I did it late, and I am sorry. But like I said, I just told you when I'm going to start doing them now. And so join me next Wednesday, and let's see what we can learn together. Do you have any questions, Facebook user that just joined? Let me see if there's a way for me to even see who's watching and who's not. Said late night, morning. I'm the lady who asked you all to start all over from the beginning. Yeah. No, sir. What's no, sir? No, sir, you don't have any questions, or no, sir, you just like calling me sir? All right, well, I'll wait for that answer. But before I go, no questions. Yes, okay, cool. So let's start closing it out. I want to remind you guys all that my name is Julien Jean-Pierre. I'm from the Royal St.Lucian Seamoss Company. We're a Seamoss company that exports Seamoss from St. Lucia, and we distribute it all over the world. We have 2 fulfillment centers or shipping centers, one in Atlanta, Georgia, in the States, and then another in Toronto, Canada. I'm currently in Toronto, Canada, and our company is based in St. Lucia. So it's 100% St. Lucian owned in St. Lucia. And yeah, this is us. So please, if you can, follow me on Instagram at St. Lucian Seamoss. You can also follow us on Facebook at St. Lucian Seamoss. We have a YouTube channel, which this is also streaming on YouTube. You can please subscribe to us there at if you just search St. Lucian Seamoss, you'll find it, because it's it's not how do you say it? They don't give you like a unique link. And I recommend that if you want to learn more about Seamoss, or you're looking for any information in addition to what we've discussed here, head over to Vegan Fiber's website. That's www.vegan, V-E-G-A-N, fiber, F-I-B-E-R. My good friends Jamari and Shayna, they've spent a lot of time researching Seamoss, and they've put together a book of all the information that they've collected about Seamoss, and then also their experiences and opinions on how to run a business in Seamoss. They run a very successful business that they've recently revamped and came out with all new products. That's their new name, Vegan Fiber. And so, I'm excited to see them get on their journey. And I think that their book's got good information, especially for those that are new to the Seamoss world, or that really want to level up their knowledge on Seamoss. That's a good, I guess, a good base to start with, and then take it from there. So again, thank you so much for joining, guys. Those that stayed for, oh, let me post. Can I post a picture? That's the CMOSology book. This is it here. The ultimate guide of principles, techniques, and tools on doing the CMOS. And one thing I should mention. So that basically means that you can, you buy two. Let me do something. Let me stop sharing the screen. You can buy two products of CMOS, whether it's 1 pound, 8 ounces, 2 ounces, or whatever. Buy two, and then on the third purchase, you'll get that free. So, and it's of equal or lesser value. So if you bought 2 pounds of CMOS, you can get a 1 pound free. If you bought 2 pounds of purple, you can get 1 gold free. But if you bought, say, 2 pounds of purple and 1 pound of, or 2 pounds of gold and 1 pound of purple, the first purple and the first gold will be charged, and then the second gold will be free. That makes any sense. Sorry, it's getting a little late. So definitely you want to take advantage of that special. It's not going to be here for long. Probably last till maybe the end of the month or so. The reason why it's a good deal is that if you do the math and you realize that 1 pound on our website costs $29.99, if you double that up, that comes to $60. If you got the 3 pound and you split it based on the per pound, so 60 divided into 3 pounds, your CMOS will go from $29.99 to $20 a pound. So this is a great way if you're looking to sort of stock up on your CMOS and you want to save a little bit of money, you get it, 3 pounds for a great price. And the CMOS lasts definitely longer than a year. We always tell people a year, but I know from experience the CMOS can last 3-4 years. I've talked to lots of farmers who've told me that they've had CMOS in storage for upwards of 5-10 years. So don't be afraid about the time or how long you can store the CMOS. As long as it's kept in a cool, dark place with ventilation, it should do fine. It should do really fine. Okay, and so all right, guys, like I keep saying I'm going, but I never really leave. So I should get on that. I should close it out and say goodnight. And again, thank you so much. I'll see you guys here on Wednesday. You know what I mean? Wednesday evening. Make sure you can, if you can, send me some questions and stuff so that you don't have to hear me rant and ramble forever. And happy CMOS. You know what I mean? Don't forget to take your CMOS. Thank you, and have a great evening. Good night.